The Spurs take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight in San Antonio. Let's preview the game, and let's talk about how much the Spurs are missing Devin Vassell.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for KENS 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope you're having a great day. As always, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. You know what to do. Subscribe over at YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, KENS 5 Plus app, YouTube. Thank you for making the Locked On Sports Network the number one sports network or podcast network across this land. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at tonight's Spurs-Bucks game, talk about how this team is looking coming into tonight's game, then get down to some keys to victory, and then discuss just how much the Spurs are missing Devin Vassell right now. Let's be honest, they haven't been playing great of late. Really, they haven't. Got smoked in OKC. And he even hit into that. They were well under 500, but they were playing about 500 ball. So we're going to be talking about that and more. Let's go to bring in our guest. Look who's back, everybody, and not on audio this time. Mr. Rudy Campos of Box Score Studio with the awesome studio there. It looks like you invested a lot of money into building that studio that I see behind you there, Rudy.
I did. I invested a whole lot of money into this studio, so I have to upgrade. My my studio here. Your studio always gets the better of me, and you see like the corny back walls that I have and all this stuff. So I had to change it all up.
And by shelling out some cash, he just like 10 seconds on AI, probably, right, Rudy?
Well, we're not going to use those two letters AI, man. We're not saying it's AI, but maybe it is.
All right. Again, follow him on X at Box Score Studio, seeing your screen, and he'll talk to you more about Box Score Studio and more later on this show. Rudy, the Spurs take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. The Bucks come into this game under 500 at 17-23. They're 11th in the East, while our San Antonio Spurs, they come into tonight's game, come off a loss to the Thunder on the road, mind, just to keep that in mind. They lost that game 119-98 and fall to 27-13 heading into tonight's contest. So let's talk about how the Spurs are looking heading into tonight's game. Good news is it's back home. All right, that's good. You know, it's a 3-game homestand, so Spurs take care of business. But looking at tonight's game, Rudy, I just don't know what team I'm going to get. There was a time to the start of the season where I would have looked at that schedule and say, "Oh, Bucks coming into town. Yeah, good luck, Bucks. Yeah, nice try." Now I'm like, I don't know, because this team has been playing about 500 ball since around the Christmas holiday. You know, we got smoked in OKC, you know, lost a double-figure lead in Minnesota, but then pick up a couple wins along the way. They're so Jekyll and Hyde right now. What do you think?
You're basically, what you see is what you're getting. You mentioned the Jekyll and Hyde performance by the Spurs, and I think it's been since the NBA Cup when they came off that NBA Cup run. It's not just them. It's actually them, OKC, those Final Four teams that were in the NBA Cup that have been struggling since they were all in Vegas. Maybe like Vegas jet lag or something that they're still fighting. But you're right on the Jekyll and Hyde team. You're getting, a hot team, though, they played against the Lakers, beating them 107-91. Yeah. Obviously, they beat Boston. Then they come back, lose to Minnesota after having that double-digit lead, getting absolutely burnt and smoked by the Oklahoma City Thunder, which – I mean, we kind of thought maybe would happen. You and I both said recently before that preview was that they were probably going to lose and probably get lost pretty bad on that. A lot of it has to do with turnovers. And that's something that we hit on last Locked On Spurs was, we see Stephon Castle, who has the ball in his hands a whole lot more, trying to run the offense a little bit more. And it's not a bad thing. I totally understand he's a playmaker. He gets to the basket. But, I mean, he's having turnovers, like 5 turnovers a game, 6 turnovers a game. And that really translates to a lot of fast break opportunities for the opposing team, especially teams like Minnesota and Oklahoma City that like to run. So I think if they're able to cut back on that, and honestly, it's just shooting too, Jeff. I mean, they're not shooting bad, but they're not shooting great. So it's not really the end of the world. If you're looking at what their last 8 games, they're playing 500 balls. So, I mean, the 3rd best record in the NBA still. Can't really complain too much about it when you go through a little run like this.
Yeah, well, really the last 6 games, they're actually 2-4. And then you span it out, as Rudy mentioned, they're 4-4. So they're right around 500 ball. This is not the same team that we saw that started the season 8-0. Was that an 8-game winning streak there? Just smoking teams left and right. What's concerning me heading into tonight's game, again, we'll get at our keys to a win later on, but is we're seeing that third quarter out of halftime molasses look in their eyes. They're just outscored them 40-20 something in the third period. Minnesota did the same thing to them. That thing is popping its head again. I am not a fan of that. As nor are a lot of Spurs fans. So it looks like at one point they corrected that, but now it looks like it's creeping back in. Do we chalk up the Spurs team and their play to just they're in it, like they're in the dog days of the season? This is the point of the season, right before All-Star break, where it's kind of like another game. They're probably got some bumps and bruises, a little winded, a little tired. I also think the amount of games they played on the road to start the first half of the season, I think it may be catching up to them. Think about it, that back-to-back set, coming out of that Christmas, the New Year's break. That is just brutal. The part of me thinks that's really what we're seeing right now. It's just a byproduct of the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, their schedule is relatively tough. Now, we mentioned at the beginning of the season, the schedule was relatively easy against, non-playoff teams. They had a lot of great games, and they started off the season very, very well. Lately, you are seeing a lot more, like you said, back-to-backs. You're at home, on the road, at home, on the road. You never get some kind of consistency, and that does tend to work a little bit towards against you sometimes. Good thing is they've got a 3-game homestand coming up. So they'll be able to get some home cooking. They'll be able to sleep in their own bed and, just able to relax a little bit more before technically going on the road, which isn't technically a really big move. They're going to Houston, which is real down the road, and they have to go to Utah after that. So again, minor road trip. But yeah, I mean, the schedule, didn't do much favors with them on this, leave, stay home type of thing. And hopefully they're able to just bounce back on this 3-game homestand and a good start against Milwaukee at the way that they're playing right now and the problems that they're having in Milwaukee as of this recording with Giannis. It could be some really good, home cooking for the Spurs. They could be able to just get right back on the winning track.
Yeah, I think so too. Look, there's a lot of holes right now in the Spurs attack on both ends of the court, again, versus the Thunder. I mean, you would think with Wemby, they should be able to hold down the fort in the paint at the rim. I think it was the Thunder outscored them in the paint by a wide margin. And how many times did we see J-Dub, SGA, other Thunder players just almost have a straight line to the rim, even with Wemby there? So, that interior defense is a little shaky right now. It's not a gig. They'll get me started on the perimeter defense. My goodness. I mean, how many wide open looks you're going to give the opposition Spurs? That's been an issue. And then, of course, the overall shooting has been an issue, and they're just bad. They just can't hit anything from outside right now. And then you whittle it down more. The guard play improved a little bit versus the Thunder. You had Dylan Harper kind of break out of a slump. But then where was Fox? How does Fox only take 9 shot attempts in that game versus the Thunder? Castle looks like he had a nice little rebound game for himself, but heading into that game, that trio has just been kind of a mess. And yeah, so I get why you, me, maybe other Spurs fans looking at tonight's game being like, yeah, good luck, Spurs. This is, it's hard for me to say these are easy W's now because of the 500 ball they've been playing, or even good 6 games under 500 at 2 and 4 in the last 6, Rudy.
Yeah, I mean, we can't be like Chicken Little. The sky is not falling. I mentioned before, I mean, if they're still the 3rd best team in the NBA, get that, the NBA, not the Western Conference.
There you go.
Total NBA, they're still the 3rd best team in the NBA. So, the guard play is going to come around. We kind of mentioned it, Jeff. De'Aaron Fox is not going to be Sacramento King De'Aaron Fox in San Antonio. You expected him to regress a little bit only because of you've got Victor, you've got the emergence of Stephon Castle. So only jacking up 9 shots. That, to me, that's a little concerning, but again, it could be, he's playing a little more conservative, trying to get Victor the ball. The dominating in the paint part, this is where we saw San Antonio when they were beating Oklahoma City those first 3 games. They dominated the paint. They were able to block a lot of shots. They were able to make it tough for Oklahoma City. if I'm not mistaken, they were out blocked 11-3 against Oklahoma City, which when you've got Victor Wembanyama, you're expecting at least 3 to 4 blocks a game just on his own. Where it was, the guys like Luke Cornett. We also saw guards like Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. These guys were getting blocks as well against OKC players. So shout out to Mark Daigneault. I mean, he made a great adjustment for the team coming into the Spurs game. They were able to dominate the paint. Offensively, they didn't really out-rebound the Spurs very much, but they did enough to get, the W. But also defensively, I mean, the Spurs just seemed like they didn't defend the paint very well at all. And it's very uncharacteristic of this team, especially when you've got size like Cornette and Wemby.
Yeah, and the other thing that surprised me too is I haven't checked, but heading into that Thunder game, the Spurs were ranked number 1 in defensive rating for the month of January. So there you have it. All right, we're not done talking about tonight's game, Spurs-Bucks. When we get back, keys to the game. What do the Spurs got to do to get the W? And then later on, talk about how the Spurs missed Devin Vassell.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LocdownNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LocdownNBA. That's ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
Thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club. Access to ad-free audio feed for Locked On Spurs, compatible with Apple's Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. An invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat for just listeners of this show and, well, hanging out with a lot of other fans on Discord. You want to go to this website right now, lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer club. Go there right now, or just tap the link in the show notes to learn more.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by my good friend Rudy Campos of Box Score Studio. Make sure to follow him on X at Box Score Studio. More on that later. Talk about Spurs, Bucks, and later on we're going to talk about Devin Vassell and how much the Spurs miss him. So heading into tonight's game, you know what? Let's just start with that. Let's get to the keys to the victory. All right. So let me give you my 3 keys to the Spurs getting the dub tonight. Rudy, let me see if you agree, disagree. All right. My first thing is do not play down to the competition. Milwaukee is 1-3 in their last 4. They're under 500. The Spurs admittedly said that's been a problem of not playing down to the comp. That's key number 1 for me. Key number 2, control the boards. Milwaukee is getting out rebounded in 4 straight games. Do not let the Bucks out rebound you, Spurs. And then finally, make sure the Bucks are not winning after the third or leading after the third. Milwaukee is 6-1 on the road when they lead after at the 3 periods. Rudy, your take on those keys to victory, and what do you want to add?
So your keys to victory, I totally agree again with them. Don't play down to the competition. Milwaukee is not even in the play-in spot right now. I think they're 11th in the standings. So again, yes, they're a struggling team. No Miles Turner. They're going to have Giannis, obviously, but if you can limit Giannis and limit everybody around him, just make it very, very tough for them. Play San Antonio Spurs basketball on the defensive side. They have to be on the perimeter as well as in the paint, protecting the paint. Mm-hmm. You definitely can come out with a W. Your second one, control the boards. Yeah, I mean, that is the biggest thing is when you are able to out-rebound and limit how many offensive rebounds a team can get. it's just so much of a long night for the opposing opposition. 6-1 on the road, when leading after 3. That's kind of been the forte, even back when, the Duncan era was. Sometimes they came out pretty flat in that at halftime, and that third quarter was a turning point. They've got to come out focused. They got to come out and not think, okay, we've got a 15, 16-point lead, or we're up 9. We're okay. We've got a little bit of points to play with. No, you've got to keep your foot down on the pedal. You've got to continue playing very, very hard coming out of halftime. Play like if it's the last quarter and you're down 10. I mean, you've got to come out strong. You've got to, if you finish the half strong, you got to start the half strong, the second half strong. So love those points. The biggest, one thing for me is memory. And I say one word is memory. Forget about that loss to Minnesota. Yes, you choked that loss, and it's all on you, and it's all on the coach staff, according to everybody. Forget that loss. Forget what happened at OKC. You cannot rewrite history. So you're at home. You were on the road for 2 games, 2 heartbreaking games. One of them you should have had in the bag. The other one, you were going to get a boxing left uppercut from OKC. You're back home. Forget what happened on the road. Start this 3-game homestand off to a fresh start. Take care of Milwaukee.
Right.
So for me, the biggest key is memory. Put out of sight what happened these past couple of games. Start fresh. And one other thing too is get Victor involved more in the paint.
There you go.
Because there is no reason, absolutely zero reason, why he should not at least have 25 to 30 points just from the paint presence. That Milwaukee really does not have any size at all. So they've got to control the paint. Those are my 2 biggest keys to victory. Primarily the Victor thing. You've got to control the paint. You've got to have him down the blocks as much as possible.
Yeah. And I would add to give him the ball in crunch time situations. There's nobody on that court that can slow him down. Maybe Giannis, but not even then tonight if the game gets down to the wire. We're starting to see a little bit of uptick about that. Boston game, he took the winning shots. Hopefully they'll continue that. But need to see him touch the ball a lot more than what he is. And I hope he starts getting selfish too. Nothing wrong with your franchise player saying, give me the ball. That's what I'm here for. So we'll see that. Rudy, before we give a prediction for tonight's game, I'm going to take this off real fast here. All right, there you go. Do you think the book is out on the Spurs? Play physical. Just body them. We saw OKC do that. We saw Minnesota do that. We saw Boston attempt to do that. We saw New York do it twice. You think that's the book on the Spurs? Is if you get up in them and push them around, they'll fold?
That's actually, that's the biggest thing right there, because one of the things on Wemby's draft prospect profile was you have to play him physical. You were able to move him off the block as long as you can get up on him. His frame is not exactly, lean, big body type thing. So you can push him around. And that's the biggest part for a lot of other teams that they're starting to figure out. Just play physical. You have 6 fouls in the NBA for a reason. Chances are you have 3 or 4 big guys that are going to be able to just body him up and use up a lot of those fouls, make it difficult. But it seems like when Wemby doesn't really get going and they're physical with him, it tends to trickle down to other players. And I think that's where you kind of got to reverse it. If you want Wemby to be physical, again, put him down in the block, especially against Milwaukee. Just take it to the basket. If they're going to play physical right back. You got to be able to play both ways when it comes to that. But I think the book is out, and it's not surprising. To me, it's surprising that the beginning of the season they weren't playing him like that. And then all of a sudden now other teams are like, okay, well, you got to play physical, play physical. Is it an adjustment the coaching staff has to make? Is it an adjustment that, the players have to make? That's soon to be told. But yeah, the book is out. I don't think, a lot of teams are going to be able to compete with the Spurs playing physical because they've got a lot of guys that can knock down shots. They're just not falling right now.
Yeah, they're not at all. I'm going to leave the picture up there for a little while longer.
Okay.
Dreams are dashed as far as that pairing in San Antonio, right? Right, Rudy?
I will say that after the last Milwaukee game, seeing that the Milwaukee crowd was booing Giannis, I'm not going to say it's not gone, but We'll just say that where there's smoke, there might be fire. But in this case, maybe it's just the fire being put out and smoke just kind of rises to the sky.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think any dreams of him being in San Antonio probably dashed by now. Obviously, players are going to say that what they have to say, but I think he recently said that he wants to stay in Milwaukee. So there's that. But no, should be.
Do you want to stay if they're booing you in your own arena?
Nope.
It's easy as that, man.
All right. Well, let's go and predict tonight's outcome. Spurs coming off a bad loss to the Thunder and then another bad loss to the Minnesota Timberwolves there. I'm going to get the Spurs with a W tonight in their home gym. You talk about just forgetting. Yes, that's right. Forget the last two. Let's get back on the winning track. Let's get some ground on OKC. Let's try to stay within those 1, 2, 3 spots, no less than 4 in the West. Let's get something going. Let's get something going in the right direction. And I think having a team like the Bucks that are struggling this season could cure what ails the Spurs right now. And my goodness, they could just get their shots to fall. Just get their shots to fall, man. I feel like it's just really Champagne out there that's not knocking down shots. And what happened to Barnes, man? I mean, after a phenomenal start to the season, I think he's shooting like around in the last 5, just a little over 25%.
Yeah, it's he's cooled down a whole lot enough to where you hear Spurs fans are wanting him traded all of a sudden now. So I mean, yeah, Barnes is going through a little bit of a rough patch right now. But if we're gonna highlight Barnes, you got to highlight other players as well. I mean, a lot of almost the entire team is going through a rough patch right now. I mean, look at Luke Cornett, started off extremely on fire for San Antonio. He's kind of cooled off now. You've got guys, obviously Champagnie. He's kind of played steady throughout the year. Victor's kind of had these up and down type games. But one thing you got to remember going into the Milwaukee game, the Spurs have yet to lose more than 2 games in a row on the season. So I'm gonna go with San Antonio at home, coming off these 2 losses. Again, the worst loss they've had was the last game in OKC at 21. I mean, outside of that, they've lost by 10, 11, 12. They lost by 1 point in Minnesota. So they're not bad losses. A lot of them are just kind of maybe mental mistakes, or they just ran out of gas, or the shots weren't falling. The only true bad loss is OKC. They're going to come back with a victory. I've got the Spurs beating Milwaukee at home to start a 3-game homestand. And I mean, if we're going point wise, I think it's probably going to be like a 110-95 type of victory. I think it's going to be a little bit easier towards the end of the game. I think they're going to be able to run away from it. So I got about 110-95. And yeah, no Spurs fans. The sky's not falling. I mean, I don't see them losing 3 in a row here at all.
So there you have it. Hopefully the Spurs get that W tonight at the Frost. He is Mr. Rudy Campos, part of Box Score Studio. More on that later. When we get back, just put Devin Vassell into focus. How much are the Spurs missing him since he's been out with injury?
Let's talk about Wayfair. The new year is here, and it's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's the one-stop shop for getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy to start the year fresh. Wayfair has everything you need for a full home refresh all in one spot. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, or upgrading your work from home setup, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what you're looking for your style and budget. You can pick up new bedding, accent pillows from Wayfair, completely change how your bedroom feels, cleaner, calmer, more put together. Shopping is easy, delivery is smooth, everything arrives exactly as expected, and you're just going to love how you're going to find the pieces that match your style without spending a fortune. Get organized, refresh, and you're back on track this new year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home.
During the break, Rudy proposed trading Victor and Castle for Giannis.
Godly. Why would you do that to me?
The Bucks, right? Is that right?
No, I did not. I did not say
He didn't.
I did not say Victor. So don't start that kind of. I would take calls on Victor, but
here we go.
I'm not going to trade Victor. So yeah, I mean, again,
what would it take for you to say you know what? Okay, I'm going to trade Victor. Like, how much of a bag do you want? Like, how many first do you commanding?
That's a great question. And you know what? I'll tell you this.
All right.
If I have to go with one team only, I'm asking for 4 to 5 first at minimum.
5 first. Okay.
And then if I'm going to a team, let me use OKC then. If OKC really wants him, I need Shea, I need J-Dub, I need Chet, I need 4 to 5 draft picks in return. So yeah, I need your core plus your future in order for me to trade Victor. But outside of that, I mean, if you want to give me, I don't know, like 6 draft picks and you're Utah, I mean, we could possibly talk because they'll probably be bad for a while.
Yeah, there you have it. They have it there. You know, I think it'd be a great episode down the road. What would it take for you to trade Wemby? That'd be a fun one. That should be a roundtable discussion. Maybe I should work on that. Yeah. All right, Devin Vassell, he's been out for a while with an adductor strain, and seemingly the Spurs have been struggling since he's been away. You look at Devin Vassell, veteran of the team, a swing guy, young, versatile, can hit the three, hit the mid, get to the paint, can do it all defensively with his length and everything. It seems to me the Spurs are definitely have been stalled since he's been out with injury. Now, Rudy, let me show you 3 reasons, what the Spurs are missing with Devin Vassell out here. There you have it. The first thing they're missing is 3-point shooting. It's been atrocious of late, really, really bad. With Devin Vassell, before the injury, he was shooting 38% overall. So not bad at all. Now, his overall impact on the court, both ends, he has an offensive rating of 120.7, a defensive rating of 114.8, good for a net rating of plus 5.8. He's a plus 5.8 for the Spurs when he's on the court for both ends of the floor. Again, you're seeing that impact being missed right now. Defensively, they have their issues with perimeter guys, swing guys. And, of course, offensively, well, we know what's going on there. And then even if you don't look at just a 3-shot, Rudy, just his ability just to spread the floor in general. So we look at his mid-range game. So we're looking at the long mid-range game. So basically that's right inside the 3-point line, but right before the top of the key. He's in the 51st percentile. I'm sorry, let me phrase that. He's 51% shooting in that area. Good for the 84th percentile among other NBA wings this season. So what does that mean? So he's up there with the guys like Norman Powell in Miami, shooting that long mid-range. Kevin Durant is in the same percentage area as Devin Vassell. Dante DiVincenzo, the list. I mean, he's with some good players in that long mid-range game. So his ability to spread the floor has been missed. I'm going to leave this graphic up there. Your reaction to this, what else would you want to add of how the Spurs are missing Devin Vassell?
Well, I'll say this much about Devin Vassell. I mean, it's not only the 3-point shooting, it's the impact overall that he's had on the team. But it's just those timely key shots that he was making. The reason why they were so successful is because Devin Vassell would get onto a little bit of a hot streak. Then he would kind of go away, and not because of his own doing, but because the other guys were seeing more open looks. The other guys were getting a little more confident. But then when you saw the ball kind of shift towards the other team, Devin would come in, get a steal, grab it, get a dunk, maybe make a jump shot, pull up for a 3. It's like he's averaging. Let me make this a little point here. It's like he was averaging 30 points a game, and then you look at the box, you look at his stats, he's like, oh, he's only averaging 15. Yeah. It's those key shots, those shots where he's like, man, Devin's on fire tonight. He's on fire. He's got to at least have 25, 26 points. No, he's got 12. It's those key moments, those key points of the game where he was making those critical jump shots and making those critical plays. That's the huge thing that we're missing. I think Devin Vassell in Minnesota, when they were playing, they lost by. I think the Spurs win that game easily by 8 or 9 points, just because again, that 1 or 2 shots that he gets just kind of changes the landscape of the game. So, I mean, you're missing that part of it. And then what I love about Devin is the fact that you have Coach Pop Devin and you have Coach Mitch Devin. We are seeing a complete revitalization of Devin Vassell under Coach Mitch Johnson. Not saying Coach Pop did a bad job with him. I just didn't feel like Devin felt comfortable in Coach Pop's system. You know, he was injured. Let's not throw that part away. He was injured, but it just seemed like he had a little more struggles under what Coach Pop was trying to do. Now under Coach Mitch Johnson, you see Devin at a whole nother level, a level that I didn't expect him to be at. Hitting critical jump shots, playing extremely well on both ends of the court, making the type of impact we expected him to make when he was drafted. And that's the biggest thing that I see from him is those key shots and also the development that he's had under this new coaching staff. So, yeah, I mean, it's a big loss for the Spurs, and you kind of feel it on some of these games that he's been out.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I'll pull up some of these interesting numbers about him and like why and how the Spurs do miss him. So the little things, like how about making your free throws? Yeah, Devin Vassell at his position, the swingman, he ranks in the 83rd percentile according to Cleaning the Glass. He hits him at about 87% free throw shooting. That's right up there with guys like Benedict Mathurin, DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento, DeAndre Hunter. So, he's pretty solid free throw shooter. Now, another big thing, too, that I want to highlight here is turnover percentage. Now, you mentioned turnovers as a kind of an issue for you, this team. Do you know that Devin Vassell, according to Cleaning the Glass, ranks in the 92nd percentile in turnover percentage? So basically, how often did the player turn the ball over when using a possession? He barely does. He's only at 7%. He's had a marked increase from last year when it was at 9%. Now he's vaulted all the way to the 92nd percentile. That puts him up there with Duncan Robinson in Detroit, DeMar DeRozan in Sacramento, Gary Trent Jr. in Milwaukee, Mikal Bridges in New York. So he values the ball. You rarely see a turnover from him when he has the ball, and that's really, really well. Not sure he doesn't handle the ball as much, but nevertheless, at least when he has the touches, it's unlikely that he'll turn the ball over. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the turnover game, that's something that we were talking about when it comes to guys like Stephon Castle. I mean, it just seems like Devin doesn't turn the ball a whole lot more over than a lot of other players do. And it's little things like that make a big difference for San Antonio. I mean,
Sure.
Be honest, Jeff, you and myself and a lot of people were bagging on Devin throughout the first part of his career because we thought, man, he's not the player. I mean, Derek Gervin had once said that, hey, Devin is almost similar to Scottie Pippen. You know, he could play both ends of the court. He's a good defender. He can knock down critical shots. But that's kind of where we said, well, I think you might have plateaued. I think you hit his ceiling. No, he bursted through that ceiling like Superman trying to take a bomb out to the outer space. I mean, the thing with Devin is that he was like, you know what, guys, I can do better. I can be better. And he's continued to be better. Ball in his hands, it used to be like, oh, there might be a turnover. He might take a bad shot. You know, he might settle for this jump shot instead of getting to the basket, yada, yada, yada. Now he's playing very, very smart basketball. The impact he has makes a huge difference. It's bad because I would have loved for him to come off the bench because then we'd be talking about him and Keldon as possible 6 men of the year. That's how good he's been playing. But as a starter, he deserves the starting minutes. The turnovers are less when he's in there. I would love to see on the next time I'm on the show, I'd love for you to give me the lineup when he's on the court. How good of a lineup is he with certain lineups on the court? Because I think with the starting five, he's actually pretty ridiculously good.
Yeah. He's really an impactful player. He impacts winning, and that's what the Spurs have been missing, just a winning player on that court. But, again, as of this recording, we don't know if he will be available for the Bucks game tonight, so keep that in mind. But if he is, that can go a long way for the Spurs and kind of fixing what's been wrong with them. But, hey, what do y'all think about Devin Vassell being absent due to injury? What do you think the Spurs are missing without him? Is it him that the Spurs lack right now, or is it something else that perhaps has been hurting the Spurs of late? Let Rudy know on X at Box Score Studio. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. We're talking about Box Score Studio, the episode here. Tell us what that is all about, Rudy.
Yeah, so Box Score Studio, formerly Sweep the League is what we used to be here. Basically, go to YouTube. It's Box Score Studio TV. You can hit the subscribe button. We've got our first documentary, the Derek Irvin documentary, out there. It's getting a lot of traction, a lot of great response from it. So appreciate that. Box Score Studio episodes. TV it's coming out almost weekly now. You've got Grading the Market. You've got other shows coming up about Catch Me on the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV on YouTube. So just stay busy, man. Staying really, really busy, especially with NFL playoffs, college football national championship game coming up. So just be sure to tune in to the Box Score Studio.
And the best way to follow Rudy is just on X at Box Score Studio. There you can get all the links to his show and so much more. Rudy, thank you again for hopping on Locked On Spurs. We definitely appreciate it. You have an open door here at Locked On Spurs. And everybody else, we thank you all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available where we get podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do. Subscribe right now. We definitely appreciate it. Hey, be part of the NBA Everydayer Club. All right, so what's that? So you like listening to Locked On Spurs, right? Well, now you can get it ad-free and join a Discord channel. We can talk about the game. It's members only. You want to go sign up right now. So basically, you want to go to lockedonpodcast.com/Everydayer Club. There you can sign up and join all the fun. We'll be back tomorrow as the Spurs season continues. Hopefully talk about more wins than losses. Let's talk about erratic play and more steady play from the Silver and Black. So for Mr. Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.